What's going on, Assassins? It's Darkstrider, the YouTube Assassin, and today we're taking a look back at Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now, this was another favorite of mine. Again, part of Ezio's whole story. This game takes place literally moments after the end events of Assassin's Creed 2. And at least it takes place in what's going on in the past. In the present, what we have is the team actually looking for a new hiding spot. The Templars actually invaded the warehouse where they were hiding out, where Desmond actually met Rebecca and Sean, where Lucy had kidnapped him and brought him out to. So they're on their way finding a new location. But in the past, Ezio Auditore di Firenze is actually still at the Vatican. And the action takes place in Rome. He's still in this location. He ends up going back home first, and then a bunch of tragic events happen to him, happen to his uncle and whatnot, and he meets his new enemy, which is the entire brood of the Borgia. They all come out with a bunch of other friends of theirs, all Templars obviously, and it's up to Ezio, who they think is dead, because they believe they killed him at the villa. They think he's dead, and he's coming for their butts. Now, the gameplay is actually really decent. It's everything you'd expect from an Assassin's Creed game, at least the older ones. It does have a lot of parkour. It does have the climbing, the hidden blade, obviously, and a bunch of other stuff going on for it. It is actually a fun game, but it does not play the way the current Assassin's Creed games play, and that is because they keep changing up the style and the direction of the play. But for the most part, if you played all the older ones, it all plays the same until I believe you get to be around Assassin's Creed 3. I think that's when they really started changing everything up and just mucking up what they were doing as far as controls. Now, it does have the missions, the various missions that you have. It does have an assortment of weapons and things like that. Not only do you have the dual blade, you've also got the gun, you've got an actual crossbow, different swords you could purchase, so forth and so on. It gives you a lot of versatility. Obviously, as you become stronger or as you go further in the game, you need better armor, you need better weapons, better gear, and this game has that all for you. It also has a bunch of like mini games and whatnot. You've got these Templar chases in which you do have to chase these characters who are actually from the multiplayer, but it's kind of cool the way that they do it. As I was saying before, the action takes place in Rome, and there are a ton of lootables in here as well. As I said, you're also right outside Vatican City, and as you're looking at all the locations, in order to obtain income, you can go and obviously pick up a bunch of treasure chests, but you can also make purchases of various shops, doctor shops, merchants, armorers, people that make weapons, anything like that, as well as famous buildings, important structures, things like that. And then you would just go around and wait every 20 minutes, you get an income, you get a paycheck. It was very innovative in that you didn't have to wait for long. Another thing that's really cool feature that they had for this was the fact that you could find assassins and bring them into your Brotherhood. Then you could do various things with them. They would level up and you could go out in battle and just call on them. You could either call on them individually like this, where like one or two would come out, or you could call them and have them do an arrow storm, which if you have a whole bunch of Templars or soldiers all wrapped up together, you could just call, and as you saw before, that arrow assault just came out of nowhere, took them all out, and it really is great for crowd control if you've got all three bars filled. Now, that was a feature that it started coming out in Brotherhood, which I enjoyed. Your assassins, in order to advance them, in order to make them more stronger, what you have to do is send them out on missions. Once you send them out on missions, they gain ability points and experience points, and you could create them the way you want. As you can see, some of them have different equipment. Some of them have guns, blades, smoke bombs. Some of them will only have swords or axes, heavy armor, heavy weapons like that. And these are the type of contracts that you would have to take them on in order to kind of advance them. You could have them fight in the middle of the day with you. They could go and battle the Templars and the soldiers, but this was a much more effective way of battling them. Again, the action was really decent. I really enjoyed the old school kind of play where you're really trying to like go around and sneak around. This was one of the last games to have actual stealth, which was a lot of fun. The stealth was great, the social stealth was great, parkour was great, having your hidden blade, fantastic, and then the fight sequences were a lot easier. I'm having a little trouble here because honestly, I've been playing so much of the newer Assassin's Creed games that I literally forgot how to just pick this up and play from the scratch. It's absolutely crazy. So if you pick it up from the beginning and play it from the beginning, however, you get it within just a couple of minutes. You'll understand exactly what you're supposed to do. The present day is a lot of fun. There's way more to do. At any time, you can actually leave the animus of your own volition. When you leave the animus of your own volition, you could speak to all the other characters, Lucy, Sean, and Rebecca. They are holed up in the original villa that Mario Auditore had. The one that Ezio builds up. This is where they're hiding out now. Right now, they're deep in the underground basement that had all the statues of the assassins. But that's not all. You could actually go to the surface and whatnot and just explore around there. If that's what you want to do. Which I strongly suggest because it's actually fun. And there are a couple of artifacts that you'll find out there. You need one artifact for a trophy or achievement anyway. But it's just amazing to see it in a present day setting, which is kind of cool. Now, Desmond and gang, they're still hiding out. He's still learning his abilities through the beating effect. And what's happening here is that they are looking for a piece of Eden. They really need to find one, so they know that Ezio hid one, and that's why they're going through his memories now. Although they really have to get deep into the current memories, or the memories that they left off with Ezio, because it's there that he has this massive confrontation with the Borgia, and it's really important to see how that all played out. He does gain a bunch of new allies, and he does make a bunch of new enemies. So, of course, this is why Desmond has to play it from that moment on, instead of just going directly to wherever the piece of Eden is. Another fun part is that when they do find the piece of Eden, when they figure it out, Desmond and crew get to go over there, and there is a massive sequence where Desmond is actually parkouring all through the area in order to get to this piece of Eden. It really is an awesome story for Desmond. It gives him a little more character. It fleshes him out a little bit more. We kind of feel a little bit more for him, whereas in the original Assassin's Creed, we kind of felt like he was just a punching bag. He had no will to escape. He was confused. When we get to Assassin's Creed 2, he's still a punching bag. He wants to help out with the assassins, but he really is unsure of himself. He hasn't practiced. He doesn't know much about what he should be doing, and they really have to just whip him into shape. So in this one, in Brotherhood, they really, really go the extra mile in order to explain what's going on in his head, how he's feeling, what's happening. There are random cutscenes that you can have when you leave the Animus as well. There are also emails. You can find emails from the other characters, other assassins, that help you out, that kind of give you more backstory, which I thought was absolutely interesting. Ezio in Brotherhood really has his work cut out for him. He kind of has to bring the band back together. There are a lot of tensions between the assassins. Some of them really do not trust each other, and Ezio has to alleviate those tensions. Another thing that Ezio has to deal with is the tensions and the arguments that he has between himself and his sister Claudia. Claudia wants to help the assassins. She comes into her own, and she really, really can be an asset, but Ezio, of course, is the protective big brother. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to her like happened to his father and his brothers. So they're at ends for a little while until one point where he's scared for his life because of her. Something had happened to her, and they kind of make up. So that's kind of cool. I love how you've got all these stories going on all at once. And speaking of stories going on all at once, one of the stories that I think is absolutely amazing is that not only are these guys battling the Templars, the Assassin and Templar War still rages, but as he's traveling around in Rome, he's also up against the followers of Mars. And it's a cult. They all dress like wolves, and they all hold these special keys to a special armor of Mars that Ezio can actually pick up for himself. Now, it's just wild. He doesn't have to battle them, but they're just a strange group, and it's just wild to see them there. They do follow the Templars, but they're kind of like underlings, which I thought was absolutely incredible. These guys, they really have like a bunch of bases. They have a bunch of secrets. They live really weird. They live in tunnels and whatnot. And then they also have these weird kind of excavations where they're looking for like these artifacts for themselves, but the Templars, again, will give them money and will help them out if they provide them with that stuff. So it's really wild how you have to go and find their lairs, and then it's so intricate how you have to go through them in order to just find this sarcophagus or whatever. It's pretty much the same as in Assassin's Creed 2, where you went to get the armor of Altair, except there are no Templars. There is no Templar involvement directly, just these guys themselves. But it was still wild. Other than that, I loved this game. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great sequel to what was going on in Part 2. I really wasn't expecting that when it came out. I actually thought that we were going to get a whole brand new Assassin, and it kind of went along with what was going on. It needed to tell the story. Ezio was a very important assassin, and you really see that in the way that this game plays out. It shows not only did he go and defeat the Templars, did he defeat the Borgia, was he the conduit for the message from the precursors to Desmond, to set Desmond and crew on his path, but he also did a lot of battle with the church, with the Templars, with the Borgia. And it's just a lot of fun to see how important he was secretly, in-game obviously, in Rome. Obviously, these games are, like historical fiction. They're a lot of fun. They're just there to kind of like fill in blanks that we don't know about and kind of poke fun at stuff. Even Leonardo da Vinci is here, and he builds you a couple of things, which is great. Anyway, that's all there is to this video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood? Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you all in the next one.